everybody, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new, welcome if you're not new. So I know I've been away for a while, but I am back. I am better, and I'm so excited today because I am giving you guys a series. Every Wednesday at 2 p.m. I will be doing a back to school and slay. I will be giving you tips for back to school as I do some makeup or play around with some makeup. Today is going to be featuring a bronzy look. If you want to see this series, make sure you subscribe and click that notification bell so you get updated every time I upload a new episode in the series and just all of my videos in general. Today is the first episode and it will be 5 ways to survive quarantine classes. So we know Miss Rona's still out here.
Coronavirus!
Out of the woods yet, okay? And a lot of schools have closed. My school has closed. You know, my school is opening back up, but a lot of other colleges aren't opening back up. For my high school college students who watch me, that's my niche here on YouTube, I wanted to do a 5 ways to survive quarantine classes. I'm able to give you these tips because I survived quarantine classes and I was able to pinpoint certain things that really helped me in my success. So let's hop right into this video. So I won't be sharing any like this is what I'm using on my eyes or my face or anything like that. It's just gonna be me talking about my 5 top ways to survive quarantine classes. I will link all of the products down below. So the first way to survive quarantine classes this upcoming semester is to stay organized. Make sure you're planning your time to study. Planning that out. I would suggest getting an actual planner, like a handheld you write in it planner. I suggest that you use Google Calendar and you have a nice monthly calendar that you can write on. Can be in your planner, can be a whiteboard calendar, it really doesn't matter. And with these tips, some of these might be different depending on what type of learner you are and things like that. Just cater these tips to your learning method. I personally use a nice planner. I will show that planner in a different video in one episode of this series. I bought a new planner. I get my planners from Barnes & Noble. You can get them wherever you want. I also have a whiteboard planner to plan out my meetings, my due dates for the month, things like that. I use the paper planner, the like journal kind of planner for just my assignments. Sometimes I'll write the meeting dates on the side and the due dates as well, but it's mostly for my assignments and daily tasks that I use it for. And then I use Google Calendar as well. I love Google Calendar because I can time block my days, set reminders. I can also put meetings in there, but I usually just time block my days. And also make sure you're time blocking everything so you can keep track of time. You're gonna hear time, like the word time, all the time, there you go, in this video. Especially if you're like kind of forgetful, you know, sometimes just forget like little things that might pop up during the day. I suggest setting timers for yourself. So timers really help just remind you sometimes when things are due. You can set timers on your alarms. I use alarms, not timers. The second tip I would say is give yourself breaks. Breaks are important. Usually in the course of online learning, I personally tend to switch from one thing to the other, try to do everything at once, especially since I'm in a different environment. One thing I'll suggest is that in regular school time, when you're at school, usually have something called passing times. They're usually things in place where after one class you'll have 10-15 minutes to go to the next class, and I usually have maybe 15 minutes sometimes if I'm lucky, sometimes 10, but I use that time, and I suggest you all use that time as well during quarantine classes, to use the bathroom, grab a snack, stretch out your legs a little bit, especially if you're sitting in your bed. Check whatever's on your Google Calendar next so you can be on top of your stuff. I would, during that time as well, go over your plan for the day. Whatever comes next, whatever comes after that next class or task or whatever, is to go over your plan for the day and adjust it, because I usually make my plan for the day the night before, so sometimes like times will change. Give yourself time to do your afternoon routine. If you see me looking here, it's just my laptop. Give yourself some time for your afternoon routine. Work out, grab a snack, relax if that's usually what you do. Like watch an episode of TV, like depending. I usually don't, because then I just get sucked in. But if that's you and you are able to still get your work done, like by all means do what you need to do. Take a nap, like do what you need to do. That's usually what you do for your afternoon routine, and just stick to that routine. Make sure you're establishing the environment in which you would like to study, because that also plays a role whenever, if you're home, if you're at school, it doesn't matter. You're not in a classroom setting. You won't really have the library at your disposal like that. So make sure when you're at home, you are setting up that environment, whether it be like you do your studying in the library or you do it in front of TV or whatever it might be. So the next tip is study time. So as I said already, establish the environment. So for me, in my room, I'll just like declutter. That's a big thing for me. Like I'll just declutter my space, because in the library it's only books around you, really. It's not like anything else to distract you. If I have clutter in my room, it will distract me from my main goal. Tips and tricks for focus. Break down your assignments. So I might have like 5 assignments depending on how many classes I'm taking, or assignments within assignments. So make sure you are breaking them down into doable parts, pieces, because sometimes when you try and do it all at once, you get overwhelmed. It's not cute. Okay, so make sure you're breaking them down into nice little pots for you. There's something called the Pomodoro method. It was basically just a timer. It would break down time from a range between 5 and 30 minutes to complete a task, and that helped me break down my assignments, not feel overwhelmed, and feel like I'm accomplishing more by, you know, just breaking them down like that. And then after the timer was up, you would like take a break from whatever you were doing. And that kind of leads me into the next thing. Make sure you're taking breaks. It's important because it won't leave you feeling very stressed. You know, like if you are doing them, trying to do your assignments all at once, it will leave you feeling so stressed and overwhelmed. But if you break it down and then take a break after you're done with one part of one assignment, or done with one assignment, just take like a 5-10 minute break just to regroup and refresh your mind, listen to some music, things like that. So it will really help you reboot and prepare you to get back into what you were doing. So the next tip is to still hound your professors and get tutoring when needed and if needed. You will need help, especially trying to transition in to online learning. So I definitely recommend still going to office hours virtually, because you can get your questions answered, you can get help when you need it, because you're definitely going to need help under, you know, these circumstances. I recommend getting tutoring. At my college, there is a Center for Academic Excellence, that's what we call it, and that's how you get tutored and things like that. Still maintain that habit. If you went to tutoring before, go to tutoring still. Make those appointments, whether they be online. Make sure you keep that routine up. If you haven't gotten tutoring, I would suggest you get tutoring. Like, tutoring always has a bad connotation, like you're failing or whatever, but even if I was doing well in a class, I would still go for tutoring, because people are there to help, and you might have gained a different perspective on something that you may not have had before. So tutoring is always helpful, just to gain new tips and tricks to maximize your time and study efficiently. Even adjusting is a challenge, so I would recommend, despite you knowing what's up in your class, still going to get some tutoring in your classes. Usually what I will do is make appointments, since my schedule is already going to be so busy for the new semester. Some teachers will have office hours, but they will also accept setting appointments outside of, you know, the scheduled office hours. Make sure you're also taking advantage of that. I think professors are really going to try and be, I don't know about lenient. Some professors have really like tried it when it comes to workload, but other professors, thank God I've had professors who are like really understanding about certain things. Understanding if you can't complete something, they'll just, you know, replace it with a question on the final exam. Very understanding in extensions. So I suggest, obviously, maximizing your time, timing yourself, staying organized, as I said in the point before, making sure that you're organized so that you can finish assignments, but don't feel like stressed, you know, if you have a lot to do and you legitimately cannot finish an assignment. Make sure you can ask your professor for an extension. If you need an extension, don't hesitate to ask your professor. Sometimes, you know, they'll be merciful. It doesn't hurt to be on the lookout for a extension or a cancellation of an assignment. It's really not a bad thing, especially if the professor finds that kind of the whole class is struggling to finish an assignment. Just make sure that you're not abusing that power, if that makes sense, because some teachers might just kind of side-eye you just a little bit. The last tip is to establish some kind of routine. We love routines. We don't like being disorganized or anything like that. So make sure you are establishing a morning, afternoon, evening routine. Whoa, I did not think that through. So that, you know, you stay organized, you are getting things done, you are waking up on time, because especially when you're taking classes at home, sometimes you will tend to like want to sleep in, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, right? But since this is school and you are responsible for going to school, make sure you're setting alarms for yourself, and establishing those routines will help you manage your time wisely, figure out what you want to get done in the day, and also helps provide structure, helps you not feel stressed, wake up stressed. It helps you kind of get in the groove and wake up when you're supposed to wake up for school, and then afternoon you kind of like relax a little bit, you work out, you eat, you do whatever, and then night routine is like dinner, studying, things like that. So I definitely suggest writing it down in your Google Calendar, your planner, or whatever, in a notebook, just your morning, afternoon, night routine, so that you can like get in the groove of what needs to happen during those times. Making a routine for studying is very important. Like, it's just so important to not get lost in, you know, different tasks, and kind of just have structure when you're studying. But after establishing routines and habits, and as I said in the very beginning of this video, pinpointing certain things that work and things that don't work will definitely help you succeed in the semester. Make sure you know what works, what doesn't work. If you knew when you were at school, make sure you carry those things over for when you're at home. If you have to establish new ones, by all means, just do that as soon as possible so you're not caught in the middle of the semester. So make sure early on in the semester, like first, second week, you establish those habits and carry them through the entire semester. Make sure you have like accountability partners, people who are gonna hold you accountable, whether that be your parents, your friends. Just make sure which friends are your accountability partners. And I'm not shading any of my friends, because they are amazing in helping me stay on top of everything I need to stay on top of. Sometimes you just have to have friends who are maybe have the same interests or career interests or just the same drive as you. Even during quarantine, like, this doesn't even have to be an at school thing, but even during quarantine, make sure you're surrounding yourself with like-minded people so that they can sharpen you and you can sharpen them as well. And my last part of this 5th tip is self-care. Quarantine classes are hard. They're, in some instances, from my experience, they are harder than the in-class, because you're not in the environment. You have more leeway to relax and kind of procrastinate on certain things. Make sure you're setting aside time for self-care and self-enrichment, whether that be meditation, praying, watching a sermon, going out for a walk, or doing self-care like a face mask, or like watching YouTube videos, filming YouTube videos. I hope that you guys are also taking care of yourselves. Shower, please, eat, and work hard, and the classes will definitely come easy. And the tips that I shared with you are not 100% foolproof. You have to cater them to your learning method and your personality and the best way that you know how you can succeed. I hope these tips, comment down below if you're going to be using at least one of these tips, and I hope at least one of these tips helped you figure out, you know, how you're going to go about this new semester. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and click that notification bell so you get updated every time I upload, and every time I upload in this back to school and slay series. Again, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye guys.